friend had called her while I was at work because we kept saying no to the business. And they said that her negative attitude was going to jeopardize the financial future of our children. She didn't have to join the business, but she owed it to kids to come look at it. So she went to a presentation while I was at work. And when I come home that night, she was supposed to have told them no. When I come home, she wasn't there. And my oldest boy, he was 17 at the time, said, Mom said that you got to get cleaned up and go back to a presentation. We're going to get rich. Are we, Dad? And I'm thinking, oh, no, these guys got her. I went back to this presentation. I was very negative. And the friend of mine said to me, I knew Jeff and Dave before the business, Jeff or Burdick. Jeff Burdick was like a 25-year-old kid at the time. And I was 40. I was 41. And Jeff said, he said, let me ask you a question, Bob. Now, this question changed my family's life for generations. He said, you can lie to me, don't lie to yourself. I said, let me have it, kid. He said, is what you're currently doing going to take you financially to where you want to be in reasonable time? And before I could do anything, he said, let me rephrase it, ever. He said, do you have a plan B? I think I'm like so many people. Once you finish school, start a job or a business, then a family, some people forget about the future. They're too busy making a living. That's what happened to me. I was just trying to pay the rent, keep the car running, you know, take care of the 5 kids and things like that. So he said, just look at this, Bob. So what I saw was today with the fruits and vegetables, with the Juice Plus, fruits and vegetables make sense to people. We're backed by research. It's never going to go out of style. They're not going to tell you 10 years from now, don't eat fruits and vegetables. Man's not going to quit messing up the environment. That's not going to happen. Demand's only going to increase. So I said, how do you make the money? I want to make sure I could do it. He said, it's sharing his product, sharing the business, and promoting events. I said, which activity creates the most income? Promoting events. When people come to events, they see, number one, they can do it, and they see it's going to happen with or without them, and they see a bigger picture. When I went to the first couple of meetings, no disrespect to anybody, I saw idiots making money. So I said, okay, now I never in a million years thought I'd make what I'm making today. But the difference in people's income is their structure and their ability to be duplicatable. It's just like construction. That's, I think, what Dan and I hit it off on the phone the other day. If you're going to build a 1-story house, the foundation doesn't have to be that great. If you're building a 20-story building of the World Trade Center, it takes one hell of a foundation to support that. And I tell people there's not 7 wonders of the world, there's 7 tourist attractions. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, they just didn't compact the soil well enough or do any pressure grouting later to level that sucker out. That's no wonder. I know exactly what's wrong with that. There's 2 wonders of the world: compound interest and the power of influence. So the difference in people's income, let's say Dan and I started at the same time, and he recruited 6 people that duplicated. Now, you might have to recruit 20 to find 6 that want to work. Let's say Dan got 6 and I got 5. And let's say 3 years later, his organization, 6 got 36 who got 216, 6 who got 6 who got 6, 5 deep. And mine got 5 who got 5 deep. I'm going to use US numbers now just for simplicity, but it works very similar in pounds. All right. If my distributors 5 by 5 each did $100 per month, and I only got the performance bonus, that would be $19,525 per month. But see, if Dan had 6 who got 6 5 deep, just one more, it'd be $46,650 a month. And I tell people, not a big difference, only about $25,000 a month, but month after month, year after year, it'd start to add up. If you get 8 who get 8 5 deep, it jumps to $192,400 a month. Now, this is why people give up. All right, Dan recruits 6, they recruit 36, they recruit 216. Your performance bonus on those first 3 generations if they only did $100 each, would be $775. See, and it doesn't look like that much money. But once they go to the fourth generation, that jumps to $3,200. But the fifth generation alone would be $38,880. So people stop a day short. All right. So again, what I understand, I got involved for the money. Soon I've made over $26 million. Okay. My 5 boys, I started with 5 lines. Now I have 15 grandkids and 5 great grandkids. Somebody said, how'd you get 20 grandkids? I started with 5 lines and they all went to work. Some have 6 kids, some have 3, some have 2, but they all went to work. All right. So what I don't get paid on your team. So I'm telling you for your own good. All right. A sense of urgency creates momentum. Keeping it simple gets the depth. For a solid foundation, Dan will tell you this, you need both the width and the solid foundation. So duplicating, keeping it simple gives you the solidness, the depth of it. You going wide, willing to talk to enough people gets the width. And in 3 to 5 years from now, you won't believe what will happen. I've been in business a little over 29 years. All right. Next month, I'll probably get a $15,000 a month raise. It just happens as time goes by, and I can't stop it. All right. Our team in the U.S., Sue and me, our team in the U.S. alone puts on over 8,000 customers a month. And I have business in every country. All right. That's stability. All right. So ask yourself this. What would you do for the next 3 to 5 years? What would you give up? And what would you do and commit to change your family's life and your life for generations? You're also changing a lot of other people's lives in the course of it. Alex Hammer Webb and I became friends 25 years ago. I was doing a meeting out in Bath and ran into him, and we've been buddies ever since. We're sideline buddies, but we're good buddies. So again, soon I'll be over there in the UK, October 6th and 7th. We're coming over for the 39 Club too. I love the free drinks. Okay. So any questions I could answer, I'll be glad to do that too as well, Dan.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bob. That story's incredible, and it makes so much sense.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Dan.
Can you hear me? Oh no. Can you hear me?
Dan.
Oh.
Dan.
Hello.
There you are. I can hear you now.
Oh, hi. Okay, cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just asked you if you had any questions before I went.
Yeah, sure, Bob. I got a few questions here, if you don't mind. My first question is, from the start, did you ever have any struggles with your business?
Oh God. Yeah. When people would, I talked to 425 people in 3 months about the business. Only 11 said yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I went through all the doubts. Only 8 of them went to work. Okay. 8 by 5, though, was a big income. All right. So we all, I don't care if you're Jeff or Burdick, Bob Burdick, Wendy Campbell, Alex Hammer Webb, whoever you are. Okay. All the people at the top, people don't see, they went through all that same stuff too. I went through my doubts. At first, I was hoping to make $3,000 or $4,000 a month, but by getting to events and paying attention to what the leaders were doing, helped change my business.
Cool. Okay. So, did you ever have a pivotal moment in your business where something just clicked and you made a massive sort of shift, and then it made an impact on your check?
Yes, I think most of them come from different conferences I went. One thing, when we started international, when we opened the UK in June of '88, that's when I first came over there. Okay, I think it's not only diversifying the width of your business, but having it geographically spread around the world. Because sometimes certain markets have a boom and other markets don't. Okay. You there?
Yeah, we're here.
You there? Okay. So somebody's trying to telephone. It's on my cell phone. Somebody's trying to call me and mess me up.
Oh, okay.
Changing all the time. You know, in 29 years, the system. Hold on one second. Still, I'm on a Zoom call. Okay. Okay. All right. Going to conferences and going to events, and everything changes. We don't ride horse and buggies anymore. We have automobiles with keys and stuff. All right. So going to the events and changing with the times. When I started 29 years ago, we were selling water filters. Okay. So today, when I started, there was no cell phones. All right. So, I mean, it's only 29 years ago. There's no social media. So adapting to all the new principles helps, but we're all going to go through doubt. Your friend says, are you in one of those deals? Are you in one of those pyramid schemes? Is that network marketing? I say yes. Do you have a job, J-O-B? I said, I never knew what that stood for. Just over broke. I said, once I learned that, I tried something else. What I was doing wasn't working for me. Okay. But coming to events, keeping it simple, sharing, not selling and convincing. The business or the product. Don't try to sell and convince. Share and educate. And care about other folks. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So again, what I showed people was fruits and vegetables make sense. We're backed by research. We're Coke, there's no Pepsi. We're so far ahead of the rest of the market. It's never going to go out of style. Demand will simply increase. Do you want to be next or last? Now, was this out of my comfort zone? You can bet your tail it was. All right. I was a biker at the time too. My hair was darker. Okay. I had a long beard. I hadn't trimmed it 8 or 9 years. I was, a hippie, a child of the 60s, a biker, a typical construction worker here in the U.S. The only reason the persons, Dave and Jeff, came after us was my work habits. So what I look for is dissatisfied people with good work habits. Okay. This was, again, out of my comfort zone, but it was something I could learn. Okay. So, but a lot of days when I'd get 20 no's in a row, I'd think, is this really going to work for me? But I had to shake it off when I went to see the next person. I couldn't let that doubt show in my face as I talked to new prospects.
Yeah. Great. So, Bob, this is a question I ask all of the top earners and the people that I sort of look up to. If you were to start again, and I know you built it old school, but obviously now we've got tradition, like social media.
Right.
What would you do if you had to start again today?
One even wider, right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Again, if one person sponsors 6 and the other one sponsors 5 and they duplicate, the one is earning more than twice as much income. Okay, I thought I understood it, but I didn't work all the numbers out. I didn't really realize how much different it was to have that width. Again, if you get 8 people who get 8 people who get 8 people 5 deep, they only do $100 each, average. Some might do 20, some might do thousands. Your performance bonus alone is $192,400 a month. If you get rid of your bad habits, you can live on that.
Yeah.
I mean, so the difference I would do is I would have went even wider. Rather than 26 million, it would have been 50 million.
Well, 26 isn't bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I say, my 5 boys have grown, and I have 10 grandsons, 5 granddaughters, and 5 great-grandchildren. Now, a lot of them said, Grandpa never works. All he does is talk to people.
And that's true. So my final question is, when you first started, what was your first check in terms of how much you earn? And I'm not asking you to say how much you earn now, but if you don't mind, like a ballpark.
Right.
The opportunity.
Well, I started in June, and in July, you got a little check from your sponsor back then. Right. The next month, I got my check from the company. My second month, it was $10,000. My third check was $30,000. my fourth check was 10,000, 30,000, 37,000. By the 8th month, it was 50,000. My mom seen my check. They used to mail us checks rather than wire transfer it. I was coming to the UK one time. I'd built a house next door and give it to my mama. I was a real bad kid, so I owed it to her. And I said, Mom, check my mail and deposit my check. When I come home, my check was 111,000 that month. This was years ago. My mom passed away in 1990. It was a long time ago. And she said, Bobby, it ain't worth it. They're going to put you back in prison. This can't be legal. Nobody's going to pay you that much money. Son, I don't need a house. I said, Mom, this one's legal.
And in order to get that check, all you did was sponsor 425 people, and out of those...
No, I talked to 425. Only 11 joined.
Oh, really?
But yeah. Now, I did massive amounts of small events.
Okay.
Every day. We did events 7 days a week. Okay. We made SDD our first month. We made sales coordinator the second month. I made QNMD the third month. I made NMD my fourth month. I had 4 NMD lines and 2 NMDs in one of those lines. When I went to my first conference, not only was I NMD, I had 4 NMD lines apiece. Leading by example, people will do what you do, not what you say. Most people are looking for people to do it for them rather than with them. That's why people don't like network marketing. Network marketers say, Dan, will you do what I won't do to make me money? Dan says no. Rather than me saying, Dan, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happened. You want to come along with me? So it's leading by example is a big key, and lots of small events and working with everybody. I don't care who calls me. I take the call. I don't care if it's sideline, downline. Like I tell Alice, I'd rather practice on his people.
Yeah, that's cool. So just to close off, Bob, what piece of advice would you give to us all right now after this call to take action in terms of building our business?
Great question. You got about 80 days approximately to the conference.
Yeah.
I would load that sucker up. It's not only the amount of people you bring, how many different lines of people you bring. You know, you could bring 100 people all in one line. Somebody could bring 50 people, 10 from 5, and they'd be better off.
Okay.
It's not only the number of people, the number of lines that you the conference. When they come to conference, they're going to see a far bigger picture. And then also having events planned for the week after conference back home for the ones that can't make it, to update them what happened at conference.
Cool. Amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for your thanks for the time, Bob.
My pleasure. Look forward to seeing you, meeting your team when I come over.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll see you in Bournemouth then, Bob, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. See you later.